are on your way to a big convention at the Jacob Javits Center. They've turned the Javits Center into this big convention, and the people that are going to be there are there to, well, they're all people who can help you improve your life, advance your career, take your business to the next level. And you are very excited. You are all prepared. You have your branding, you have your messaging down pat, your 30-second elevator pitch, you're all ready. And there you are at the doors to the Javits Center, and you open the doors and you confidently march on in. You don't actually march on in, actually, because it's really crowded, so there's no room to march. So you kind of confidently squish yourself into this mass of people. You're in this giant mass of, I don't know, thousands, tens of thousands of people filling the Javits Center. And everyone there is confidently stating their messaging, their 30-second elevator pitch. It's getting pretty loud, so people are starting to scream. Look at me, I have such great things to offer you! And you want to be heard too, so how can you be heard?
Scream louder.
You have to scream louder, of course. So maybe you get on a chair. I have great things to offer too! Let me tell you a few of my value points. In fact, I wrote a blog article about it. Click here and see the 5 things you can do that I can help you with. I'm so great at what I do. Hello? Pretty soon, no one can hear anything, obviously. It's all just a big, massive noise. It's kind of just a hum. You don't even notice it you don't notice anything. You don't hear anything. And then all of a sudden, someone taps you on the shoulder and whispers in your ear, Victoria, that talk you gave was so inspiring. Thank you. And by the way, that dress looks awesome on you. Now, that you heard. How come that cut through? It turns out that there are ways to cut through the noise. So I'm here to talk about social media. Obviously, you probably know that the Jacob Javits Center, this big convention, is Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Instagram. It's social media, and everyone is on there screaming their value because we all want to be heard. We all get on and we want to, well, we're not supposed to just promote, we're supposed to just tell great stuff, we're supposed to give value, but everyone is screaming in capital letters to get to be heard. Screaming doesn't work. Whispering actually gets you heard. And I want to give you some examples of how to whisper on social media, because is there anyone here who actually wants to be heard on social media? Anyone? A few people came to be heard on social media. Great. But before we even talk about some tactics and strategies for social media, why are we even talking about social media and the importance of social media? Does anyone here not know that social media is important today? I mean, we can't really imagine life without social media. This is not the Dark Ages, 2005, and the ancient history where we really didn't understand. Social media is extremely important. We all know it's extremely important to the life of growing our careers and our businesses. So why are there so many talks and books on how to do social media better? If everyone already knows it's important that we're all doing it, why are so many people still doing it so poorly? Why are so many people so confused and overwhelmed still? It's such an ingrained part of our lives and our businesses, and so many people are still doing it very badly. And I'll tell you the number one reason why people are failing at social media, in my humble opinion. That's not really true. I'm not very humble. Actually, on Charlie's scale, I'll probably be on which side is it? The arrogant side? With a whole lot of insecurity thrown in too. So I'm kind of an enigma. In my enigmatic opinion, the reason people are failing at social media is they aren't investing enough. And I don't mean money only, but everyone says social media is important. You have a business or you have a career, have an idea you want to get out there, social media is extremely important. But most people are not acting like social media is important. They get to social media when they get to it, right? Who here does social media after you do all the important stuff? Right. So you do all the important stuff and then you do the social media if you get to it. I mean, we're all tired at the end of the day. We don't all get to social media. So it's really not important, is it? So if you invest your time, your energy, your budget, then you're putting your money where your mouth is. You say it's important, show me it's important. Most people are, like I said, they treat social media as an afterthought. And you know what, let me give you some ways. I'm not here to judge. I am here to judge, actually. I'm not here to criticize. But here are some ways that you'll know if you're making social media, if you're putting social media as an afterthought. Number one, a whole day goes by and you haven't posted on social media. Or more than a whole day. Has anyone ever spent a whole day and not posted on social media? Okay. Another way you know you're treating social media as an afterthought is if you look at your posts and you are posting, most of your posts are in clusters. I have 10 minutes now, so I'm going to go post on social media. So if you look back at your history, you posted 6 times on Twitter and once or twice on Facebook or Google Plus and Instagram, all within this 10-minute period. You're not treating social media as important. Number 3, you are broadcasting your message and your value. And that's all. You're not engaging with other people. You're not sharing other people's messages. You're not being grateful and acknowledging other people for sharing your message, because if you don't do that, they're going to stop wanting to share your message. You have to be, this is social media. We want to be social. We want people to like us. We want to like people. We want to be good people. If you're just broadcasting and nothing else, you're not making it important. Let's see, number 4, you are being tactical rather than strategic. And that usually shows up as haphazard rather than having a calendar and a system. Treating it like you treat other marketing and other parts of your business and your career and your life. If it's important, you have a plan and you follow the plan. And then let's look at what the 5th way you can see if social media is not important to you is if you promote when you have something to promote and you're mostly promoting. It turns out, of course you want people to click on your buttons and come to your website and set up appointments and buy your stuff. It turns out people will more likely buy your stuff if you don't promote, when you're not promoting on social media. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. In other words, when you're not screaming, here, look at my stuff, and you're more sharing other people's stuff and you're being good to other people, be good to people, you will more likely get results. Angela Gia Kim from Savor the Success, her philosophy is give, give, get. Social media is the same, it's life. You share, you give, you're good to other people. It turns out people want to be good to you too. And then they learn about you and they see you as a good person, then they want to know more and they want to click on your buttons and hopefully buy your stuff. So that's, anyone here feel, and again, not criticizing, anyone not treating social media as important? Yay, I'm in the right place. So there are many of us business people who know we can't do it all ourselves. We're not, I know I can't get to social media, so I'm going to delegate social media, right? So most business people will delegate their social media to Jill in customer service, Bill in the warehouse. In other words, people who are really excellent at what they do, they're experts at something other than social media. The companies, the businesses who are doing social media well and getting results, they hire people specifically devoted to social media, staff who are specialists in social media, or they're outsourcing to companies that specifically specialize in social media. Any company out there that you look at and you say they're getting a great return on their investment, they're doing that. They're treating social media as an important aspect of their business. Research, I said this was my opinion. This is not my opinion. This is research, and we're studying, and I'm in social media every day, and I study the companies that are doing it well because we want to keep doing it better. The ones doing it well are focusing a staff or a company on social media. It's marketing. Your company can't grow without good marketing, and social media is a huge piece of the marketing pie nowadays. So you want to treat it as important. So we'll spend a few minutes on some tips for doing your social media. If you want, does anyone want to invest a few minutes in learning some tips for social media?
Yes.
Good. So now that I've told you that strategy is more important than tactics, I do want to start by giving you one or two tactics, because if you're doing your own social media, I know that whenever I talk about social media, people really, their favorite thing is to take one or two things that they could just run right back to the office or home and do today. So I want to give you some things you can do today that will absolutely, if you do this consistently, will improve, grow your visibility, get you more followers, get you more clicks, all the things that, you know what, I guess assuming that these are the things you want. Why don't we talk just for a second about what do you want from social media? Anyone have any specific ideas of why are you on social media? What is it for you? You can yell out some. Publicity, great. Anything else?
Credibility in the industry.
Beautiful, credibility in the industry. So your expert status, publicity for perhaps media, new clients, potential partners. Sales, we want potential clients to see us, correct?
Connection and
Recruiting, connection, terrific, great way. We've hired many of our staff from people we've met on social media. It's a great way to connect with people.
A lot of people hire consulting for a one-time thing or to learn some skill, and we always want to try and stay engaged with people over time so that they're continuing to grow and not just looking at growth as a one-time event.
Great, almost like continuous customer service and growth within your company, continued relationships, because that's growth for you and everybody you're continuing the relationship with. So this is what social media is great for this. Yes.
Sorry. This is an important one. Marketing research.
Market research.
Feedback.
Market
Knowing
research and
what people out there think about you.
Great. So that's a really good point, because the studies that show that the number one reason why people are failing at social media is they're not investing enough. The 2 or 3 in there is that people are not listening. And social media is such a great place to get feedback, to learn what the market wants. Why waste your time putting out things if the market doesn't want it? And it's so easy now. Social media, we used to have to send out forms and can you take this survey and hopefully you get the right people. Now you have a list of millions and millions of people. You can find your target audience and listen to what they're talking about and join in the conversation and then give them what they want. So yes, feedback, market research, so great. So I want to then talk about a few ways for you to be heard. So if you want the publicity, if you want to stay in contact with people and have people notice you, if you want to build your expert status and have people come to you as an expert, like I said, you don't scream your value. I mean, there is certainly a place to be broadcasting, and you do want to be broadcasting your value. But how you get people to notice you is these little gentle taps and whispers. And one thing, and I admit that I just figured this out in the last year, and I'll tell you the story of how I figured it out and what we did with it in our company and the results we're seeing. It was in the last year where I went onto my Twitter account, and that's still, for me personally, I am most active on Twitter. It's the place where I connect with the most people and broadcast my message and find new people who want to work with me and potential partners, all that. I happen to love Twitter. So I logged onto my Twitter account and I saw that someone had clicked favorite on one of my posts. This is just like on Facebook where you click like, on Instagram, this is a like. On Twitter it's called favorite. So someone favorited one of my posts, and I post a lot of inspirational messages and motivational quotes, and those always get clicks, favorite, because it's a nice feeling, so people favorite it. But this post was something about my company, something about using ghost tweeting services. And I thought, why would someone click favorite on that? So I clicked over to see who that person was, something about their profile was intriguing to me. I clicked their website. As I was checking out from buying something on their website, I thought, oh my God, they got me. I mean, I wanted this thing. It was something I wanted. I was like, they clicked favorite. I don't even know if they did this strategically. I'm pretty sure they did. But they knew I was a potential client. I wondered why would they click favorite on this post and I'm buying their product. So this happened actually again on Instagram to me, and because who is this person? I don't know this person. Why did they like my photo? When I'm buying their services, I thought, oh, this is so good. I have to try this for myself. So I started, and any new thing that we do for our clients, I always start with me and my house accounts. We have house accounts on different platforms to test new things out to see if they actually work. So I started with me, and I said we have to be strategic. You can't just willy-nilly click favorite. So what I did and what we do now for our clients is we monitor specific keywords and hashtags. And then we look, and there's more into it, but really the simple thing is you find hashtags and keywords that your potential clients are using on the different networks. And you use a platform like Hootsuite, for example, and you create a column for that specific hashtag or keyword, and you monitor those posts. And then a few times a day you go on and you see a few that are perfectly in line with your branding, posted by someone who could potentially be a partner or maybe media or a client, and you click favorite. Now, of course, this has to be strategic. You want everything you do, your posting, your engagement, and your favoriting and liking to all be in alignment with your branding and your message. Because that's really rule number one, is consistency in your messaging in everything you do on social media. So if you're clicking favorite on a bunch of different posts or like, within a few days, more people start noticing you. And within the first week, I got 4 people who had contacted our company when we asked them where did they hear of us. Oh, Nika did something on Twitter. I saw Nika on Twitter. And a few of them bought our services. So I said, okay, this works. And so we started doing it for our clients. And we actually did this. One of our clients is a philanthropist. It's kind of funny. She's very passionate about water. And she has several businesses, and she's a thought leader. We were working on her Twitter account. I said, let's roll this out with her and see what happens. We started finding potential partners for her passion, which was helping people in developing countries have clean water. She happened to have something that was kind of part of the way towards a solution. Within a week of us trying this favoriting specific tweets, she called me up and she said, or she emailed me and said, what's going on with my Twitter account? The energy has really grown all of a sudden, and I just got contacted by someone who turns out we're partnering now on helping people in Africa with this project that I've been wanting to do for the last few years. So they're now saving lives in Africa. Favoriting tweets saves lives. But anyway, obviously it can get you sales, it can get you noticed, it can get you publicity, it can get you potential partners. It's a specific tactical thing that I believe you should try, and once or twice is not going to do much, but if you do it consistently, and that word, by the way, consistently, is something I'll probably bring up. I bring up all the time, because everything you do on social media needs to be consistent to get results. Try it once and say you don't get results, you didn't try it really. And that's when most people are saying, I'm not getting a return on my investment. I post on Google Plus and I haven't seen anything. Are you posting 6 times a day, every day for the last 6 months? Then don't tell me you don't see results yet. You're not doing it.
It's like going to the gym.
Exactly. I went to the gym yesterday. How come I'm not a size 2? It really is true. So that is a way to whisper. So who's going to try that now? So really what you're doing is you're saying to you're tapping them on the shoulder and saying to them, I really loved that post. Thank you for posting that. That was a great post you did. And you want to go, who just thanked me? Who just liked what I did? And you go and you look. We do that. So great. So try that. Another way to whisper is very simple things like retweeting or reposting or sharing someone else's messages. And by the way, I didn't introduce, this is Sandy, who's from our team. She's an account manager who does all of these things I'm talking about for our clients. So at the end, if anyone has any questions, Sandy is like in the trenches doing this for all our clients, so you can ask specific examples of the.
Let me surface today.
What?
You let me surface.
I let her. Yeah, usually she's underground. She's a ghost tweeter, but today, anyway. So resharing other people's messages. A lot of people say, well, you know, I click RT to get noticed. RT, which is a way to share someone's tweet on Twitter, used to be great a few years ago before they made it so easy to just click a button and RT. Everyone, I don't even look at the RTs if they're not, if they don't have anything else, but you know, because I know it's just click a button.
That means
Yeah,
retweet?
RT, yes, retweet. Like on Facebook, you click to share. On Instagram, you have to use a different app and regram or repost. On LinkedIn, it's share. On each of the networks, there's a different way to explain it. On Twitter, it's called RT or retweet. So someone who I want to notice me posted something that I would like to share with my audience because it shows me as a resource and an expert and well-rounded, and I want them to notice me. So I'm going to go RT to my audience. Clicking RT is not the best way to get noticed. The best way to get noticed is to share with a comment, with some love, with some real, you know, put some thought into it. RT means nothing but, hey, that post, RT, Michael, just this article he wrote, Michael, that was awesome. I love number 2. That really, you know, made me try something new. So now you know I really read the article that I'm retweeting, and I have something to say about it. That makes you stand up and who is this person who's reading my stuff? Again, like, who is this person who favorited my post? Retweeting with some love is how you get people to notice you. So just take a few extra minutes to make a comment on something like, yes, right on, I do that every day. RT at Charlie Kim went to the gym this morning and pumped 300 pounds. Whatever it is that that you need to share. So make comments on your RT. So those are some tactics. And I want to just tell you one thing, because it came up in conversation last week with a client. A formula for monetizing your social media. And it is a bit tactical, but it's also a strategy because it's something you want to do consistently. And real kind of a shift in mindset. First of all, a lot of people, even the gurus on social media, say social media is a great place to get publicity and build relationships, but you're not going to make money. It's not a place to make sales. And while I would agree that social media is not a direct sales tool, it's not a place for you to post something with a link and expect people to click it and take out their credit card, because it's not usually some companies will put a sale up. If they're very well known, it could work very nicely like an ad. But the companies that are treating social media, their status updates, as an advertising platform are not doing well. But that being said, there are companies who are making really good money by doing social media well. And here is a 3-step formula for you to try that will help you see results if you're looking to actually turn your social media contacts into potential, actual clients who are buying your stuff. And the first part is that you start off of social media. You start on your website. So you post a blog article and you give your value. Your expertise is in speaking and presenting. So what does your audience want? They want some tips on speaking and presenting. So here are 5 things to do before your next talk. So your potential client is going to be very interested in that. So you post that article, and this is done. We all know that people write great, valuable articles on their blog. The second step, of course, is now going to social media and posting something really compelling that gets people excited and intrigued and a little, this is mysterious, I need to know more. Get them to click to go over to your blog. Sometimes it's as simple as 5 things to do before your next talk. Nervous? Here's 5 things to do to calm your nerves before your next talk. Link. Your potential clients are absolutely, that's my pain point. I'm going to click that. So now think about just how, it sounds simple. You wrote a blog article, you posted it on Twitter or Facebook or Google+, and you put a link there, and now someone clicked it. So now you had a connection on LinkedIn, let's say. They were on LinkedIn, that's where you met them, that's where you know them. They clicked, and now they're on your site. That's what we all want. We want people to come to our site. Really, that's the point of social media, to get people to your home. Because social media isn't ours. Social media is, you don't own that stuff. You want to use it to get people to your home, your environment. This is where you now have control. But step 3 is where usually people are missing this part. People say, yeah, I write a blog article and I post it on Twitter, and so I get more traffic to my website. Once people are on your website and they read your article and they get your 5 great tips, what do they do next? Well, what do you tell them to do next? What's usually missing at the end of every great blog article that gives a lot of value is direction. What do I do next? I thank you for that. I like this guy. He seems like an expert. Click. I'll go back to Twitter now. How about, if you want more help with this, how about a 10-minute conversation with me? Click here. Or do you want a whole book on this to really help you for if you're doing a talk next month? I could really help you make it 10 times better. Get my book here. Sign up for our newsletter to get more. Get a free consultation here. Or here's something you could buy that makes it better. It's always missing. People need to be led to the next step. People say, and in fact, this is what happened last week where a client called me and she said, I'm ready to step to the next level. What should I be doing to help you get, people are coming to our website, and I need to know what to do on my end to make our social media better. So I said, well, this is the formula that on your end, on your blog, this is what you need to be doing. And she said, well, that's how I called you. I clicked something on Twitter and went to read your blog, and then it mentioned I could actually hire you to do this for me. I was like, oh, so I guess it works. So she was so excited, and I thought, oh, I have to now share this with everyone. Reminder, this works. So it isn't a direct sales, obviously, but it gets people in your sales funnel, and it gets people on your website. Now, of course, your website has to do its job. One of the main things is lead people. You got them to your blog article, lead them to the next step. It could be buying something, it could be a free consultation, it could be a free report, a newsletter, whatever it is to get them in your funnel. Now they're yours, and they're not just Twitter's connection to you. Does that make sense? Okay. So before we go on, is there anyone, I want to talk about like future trends and where we should be looking on social media, because it changes every minute. And I know pretty much most businesses nowadays change every minute, but every day I wake up and go, oh, Twitter just changed their rules. Now we have to redo everything. It's so frustrating. Poor me. But I know everybody has a business where things are changing all the time. But because social media and the internet and digital messaging, it's always, all the rules are changing and the industry is changing. You don't want to be studying something that's going to not be there tomorrow, because what a waste of time. So we're always studying at my company what's coming up, what's the next big thing, what should we be focusing on and helping our clients with, because like Twitter used to let you follow 500 people a day, and that's how we got people noticed. Twitter doesn't allow that anymore. We had to come up with a whole new way to get you noticed on Twitter. Hence favoriting and retweeting and engaging and things like that. So I want to talk about some things that I'm noticing. Before we get to that though, are there any specific questions? I kind of love throwing in questions in between rather than all at the end. So should we go to some questions?
Well, I have a question to go
Great.
off, and in case anybody else has any. So,
Thank you.
so I kind of have 2 questions. The first of which, like you mentioned that Twitter is your favorite channel for social media. Do you actually think that one, whether that's Twitter or the other, is actually a better like channel to use versus Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram or something like that? Or
There is not one answer to that. It depends on what your goals are. For me, I think the reason I love Twitter is that initially when I went on Twitter, I admit when I first heard of Twitter and people started using it, I thought it was a huge waste of time. And now it's my favorite thing, and I post about 30 times a day, I think, on Twitter. Twitter, I think, is great if your goal is to get visibility for your brand and to make connections with the types of people who are on Twitter. And you have to do your research. So if your audience is senior people, retired people, let's say, they're not on Twitter. If that's your audience, Twitter's not the place for you to spend all your energy. Entrepreneurs, it's 25 to 45 is kind of an average age on Twitter, and it's a lot of moms. So you want to know so for me, my goal was to build up my status as a thought leader, and I find Twitter to be one of the fastest places to get visibility for your brand. And I've changed my brand 3 times in the last 10 years or so. Each time, I mean, since being on Twitter, actually twice, it only took about a month or 2 before everyone on Twitter thought, this is my thought leader. It's a quick way to build up your expert status and for people to know you for your branding. But it depends on your goal. Do you want to talk about a specific goal, and I could tell you?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay. And if anyone does that, I could tell you where you should be focusing your time and energy. But yes.
I have a question. It's a little bit of a leading question. Our director of digital always talks about how virality, he says viral is an outcome, not a strategy on social media. And a lot of companies, and we hear people talk about, I want, people come to, clients come alongside agencies and say, make something go viral. Make this video go viral on social media. And that just sounds so silly.
Yeah.
You can't make something go viral. So what, how do you think about what is the component or what are the components in the social media environment that foster or actually start to create virality, and how should people think about that?
It's a great question, and if I knew the one answer, I would be wealthy, I guess.
And I'm not saying
but
that you can ever, there is no answer. You can never guess what's going to go viral, or you can't make something intentionally to make it go viral. But,
although people have intentionally tried.
and succeeded with some failing well, yes.
Yeah, so what are the components of things going viral? First of all,
what's the environment in which something that has the potential actually can do it?
Okay, so first of all, there's a great book, and just like you, I don't know if I'm going to remember it. Does anyone, I can't even remember the name of the person, but there was a scientific study of things that go viral and catch on. Google it. Anyone back there? Julie, I know Tracy. You know what, if I don't find it, I'm going to,
Contagious?
Yes, I think it's contagious.
Okay.
That might, yeah, okay. Contagious. And it did do some studies, but I have to tell you, I read it, and some of the things didn't sit well with me. I don't know if there was a broad enough, the research was with enough things that went viral.
Contagious why things catch on.
That sounds correct, and I'm going to look it up at the end to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that is it. Yes, contagious why things catch on. And some of the things that they studied that shows one of the things is that you want to put out something that actually surprises people. So something that's not obviously challenges the status quo. It's not your typical way that you expect to see it. So cat videos often go viral, but if you saw something weird with a cat doing something that no one expected, that's more likely to catch on and have people share it. And the reason, I had an old friend called the other day and talked about social media and said, asked the same thing. Why do things even go viral? Like, how does this even get to millions of people? I only have a few hundred friends on Facebook. Well, obviously, one person shares it and then they're hundreds of friends, and it builds on top of each, right, snowballs. So that's what's kind of fun about social media and things going viral. And so many things go viral, and I think that problem, like you said, is people then try to copy what's out there, but once it's done, that's done. You have to do something completely surprising again and unexpected. But again, they all tend to speak to emotions and really deep emotions. A lot of things bring up tears, things that go viral. Either happy tears or really sad tears, or some injustice and we all want to join in. But these are some of the things that are part of these videos and posts and projects that go viral.
I was gonna, if I can add, building off that, for me what I notice is that when we put on a marketing hat, we tend to think branding and we tend to think speaking one to many. And the cool thing with social media, what works is it is one-to-many, but you're approaching it as a one-to-one. And so when you're not communicating brand, you're communicating at a personal level and hitting that emotion or being personable, and that's going to get you a lot farther, a lot more attention and interaction. And when we're working with our clients, the things that we see that are getting responses are the ones that come across and look like it's a lot more like I'm just tapping you on the shoulder or talking as opposed to talking to the whole room.
I think, like you said, was it Frank Sinatra? What singer you think you're just? He was singing to me. That's such a good point. That on social media, it's a leveraged way to communicate. You can speak to many without speaking one-on-one to many. But if you sound like you're speaking one to many, you're not going to connect. So that's such a brilliant. Thank you.
And I use a lot of when I talk. If it's a company I use pronouns, but I'll say, well, we do this as opposed to the company name does this, or I've done this, and it's more personable. And we talk a lot to you instead of your. You're making it personal.
Yeah, good point. So connect one-on-one with people, but when you put it out there, you want many people to think you're talking one-on-one with them.
So maybe we can see if the other offices have some questions. San Francisco, do you have questions?
I just want to ask, do you follow somebody like, what's your favorite brand or a favorite person whom you follow? Like, is there any person whom every morning you wake up and say, okay, I just want to see what this person tweeted or written or something like that?
Me personally?
Yes.
I have to say it's actually really our clients, because I mean that's what I'm really interested in. And we have some pretty awesome clients, so I like watching what they're up to and watching what our people are doing for them. Let me think. Is there anyone? If I think of it, I'll let you know. I can't think of anyone specific. Watch me.
Elliot, do you have a question in Boston? I think
That's correct. So just a quick question. Do you have any recommendations for reaching people who might not be as technologically savvy as quote-unquote kids these days are? Because we have a lot of clients that are probably not on Twitter, and what would be harder to reach with traditional social media? Yeah,
that's a great question. Even people who are not technologically savvy are still getting on social media. I have found that Facebook is the place where most people who say they're not technologically savvy are going, but now LinkedIn is getting bigger too, because people are finding it user-friendly. I think Twitter is probably the most difficult. Google Plus is also confusing if you don't really get it. But LinkedIn and Facebook are probably the platforms to go to find people who are, because if you have clients who are not on social media, they're not on any platforms, obviously you can't reach them through social media. But the platforms that they're tending to go on are Facebook and LinkedIn. And you speak to them. So if you know them and they're not technologically savvy, don't speak technologically. Just speak like you would talk to them on the phone, and that's the kind of posts you would make. Like Sandy said, just talk to them one-on-one.
London, do you guys have a question?
Hi guys, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any advice for obtaining momentum within social media? I see many Twitter accounts that boost aggressive.
Sorry, Mike, can you get a little bit closer? It's a little choppy.
Sure, sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
Do you have any advice for maintaining momentum with social media? I see many Twitter accounts that boost aggressively for a week, but then stop for 3 months. Is this bad PR, and how do you avoid it?
I love that question. The answer is it is not effective to do that. The consistency, one of my favorite words, is what helps you build momentum, keep momentum, and build trust with people. And a lot of people say, well, I post when I have stuff to say, and I don't post for a few weeks if I have nothing to say. Well, your followers who are listening when you're posting, they probably are not looking every day for your stuff, but when you then post a few weeks later and they see your stuff, there's something, even if it's subconscious, that makes them go, wait, I haven't seen them in a while, and I need the trust is built in consistency. Like going to a restaurant that serves a certain food a certain way, you go and they serve it a different way for a few weeks, or one time even. If you're not there all the time consistently, people, like I said, even subconsciously lose that trust in you, and it takes a long time to build that up again. And if you do it again, it's going to take even longer the next time to build up trust. So the suggestion is that clustered posting is not effective. So if you're not going to commit to posting throughout the day, every day, you might as well really not waste your time, in my opinion, because it's not going to give you results. On Twitter, for example, like I said, if you the clustered posting, if you have 10 minutes and you post 6 posts now, well, I'm supposed to post many times a day on Twitter, so I'm going to post 10 times right now. The only people who saw those 10 posts are the followers of yours who happen to be logged onto Twitter at this moment. Most of them are not. So if you don't post later, you missed most of the followers. So you need to post throughout the day, maybe every 15 to 30 minutes, all day, every day, which is why we can't all do that. We need tools and we need to delegate, and we need apps to help us. But you need to do that. You need to be consistent, and you don't want to take time off.
Can you mention some of the programs that allow you to create a bunch of content and then schedule those releases at?
Sure. The most user-friendly one is Hootsuite. And for your personal account, it's a free program to get an account with Hootsuite, and it's online, and you can create and schedule posts for the week, for the month. You still do want to go in every day and engage and talk to people and share other people's stuff, but at least the broadcast part, which can take hours each day, that's taken care of, ahead of time. Great. All right, so let me just then tell you some of the directions of social media that we've been seeing. One thing, and Victoria talked about this with design and how design is growing and becoming even more important. With social media, that's what we're seeing too, and I'm sure you've seen over the last few years how much more prevalent photos, graphics, videos have become. Facebook, even a few years ago, was saying if you have photos or videos, they're going to more likely show up in the news feed. People are more likely to engage with photos and videos on Facebook. And then Pinterest came along and Instagram came along. Design, visual, graphics has been growing, but it's not done. It's still growing. It's still getting bigger. Twitter just recently, in the last month or so, redesigned their whole platform. If you're on Twitter, you notice a whole new look of Twitter. It's much more visual. People are saying they're trying to copy Facebook. LinkedIn just said, I think it was yesterday, that their upgraded accounts are now getting a big, beautiful graphic banner on the top. People want to see stuff. So Twitter used to be all 140 characters or less. You saw a little text. Then they started adding the ability to put in, like if you posted a video, it would show up. Then now their whole platform is visual. If you have a link in there, it shows you a picture from that web page that you link to, the whole thing, and then there's a big giant banner and a bigger profile photo, and everything is colorful and pretty, and even their posts are not all the same size. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, some of them are bolder. People like visual. So if you're posting, think about visual. Take your quotes and your message and put it into a graphic. Use pictures, use videos. This is all helping people get more visibility and more engagement. The other thing that is still growing is this idea of whispering versus shouting, because the shouting is getting louder, and we're at the point where we don't even have to talk about it anymore because we don't hear it. We don't hear what people are screaming. You have to learn ways to cut through the noise, and the biggest ways to cut through the noise are to give, to share, to notice other people. You want to be noticed? Notice other people, and they will really turn around and notice you. And the final thing I want to talk about is the platform that seems to be gaining the most interest because of it packs the biggest punch, I would say, of all the social media networks for giving you all the things that you want. You want more traffic to your website, you want to get more visibility, you want to get more clicks, more followers, more engagement, more press. Does anyone know what this social media network is? And I really almost hate saying it because I was Google Plus. Google Plus, a few years ago, I knew I should be really into Google Plus and I couldn't do it. I tried, and what I noticed on Google Plus was it's a great platform for gaining SEO because it's owned by Google. And I used to say to myself, I can't ignore it, it's owned by Google. Google owns the internet. We have to play in their playground if we want them to notice us. But it wasn't very social. And now it's getting very social. It's kind of, in my opinion, taking over what Facebook was a few years ago. It's a great way to gain followers. It's kind of a combination. Twitter, we used to be able to get you thousands of followers really quickly. Google, you can do that on Google Plus now by circling, they call it, instead of following. You put people in your circles. The people you want to follow and people I want to follow could be a circle. People I want to notice me can be a circle, and they don't know what you're calling the circles, which is good. You know, people I'm inspired by, people I want to buy from me. You can make lots of circles and put them in your circles, and they notice you, and they often circle you back. And they're watching all of the posts you're putting out. And you can engage, and you put up pictures and videos and share other people's posts. And let's see, you're sharing, you're posting, you're following other people, they're noticing you. And when you use the right keywords, remember it's Google. They're now indexing you higher in the search engines. So if you're strategic about it and not just going on to get lots of followers, but you're thinking about SEO at the same time, you're going to get more traffic to your website. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. And so you're getting visibility, you're getting engagement, you're getting greater SEO. It kind of, like I said, packs the biggest punch out of all the social media networks. So look into Google Plus if you're thinking of starting a new platform or you want all those goals quicker. Try Google Plus. That's it. So any other questions? Yes.
What's your opinion of paid social campaigns?
Meaning what? Paid
like sponsored ads, yeah.
And do you mean Facebook specifically?
Sure. Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
Sorry.
I am bothered by the fact that you have to pay to sponsor posts in order for them to be seen. On the one hand, because you didn't used to have to. On the other hand, Facebook was free, and we have no right to say how dare they charge us money because they're a business and they have a right to charge us money. But I'm not seeing great results for the most part. I think and our company isn't experts in the ads, in the sponsor posts. We're experts in the content creation and posting. There are other people who are much better at knowing what to do. If you're very strategic about it, you'll get better results. But I'm still not seeing the best results from it. Yes.
I know you said you like the Twitterverse more. Do you feel the same way about promoted tweets?
You know, I haven't found the need to promote tweets yet. Except I see the writing on the wall. Soon they're going to stop letting us be seen by so many people, and we're going to have to promote tweets. Right now, how you get noticed is by doing all these other things, by engaging with people you want to notice you and monitoring hashtags and sharing other people's stuff and then putting out good content. That's how you get seen. The good thing is it's all testable. You can try out a few and see if it works for you, because for some people it does work. A few, and if it doesn't work, you have a cap of $5 or $10 a day or whatever it is, and you try it out. I just haven't seen the need for it on Twitter yet. Yes?
A big pet peeve of mine is hashtags. I find that people just use them for the sake of
Mhm.
and sometimes it's funny, but
Yes.
how can we as a company and even personally us be strategic with hashtags? Like, what are some keys behind that?
Great. Well, first of all, yes, they're overused and they're silly and they're kind of seen as spam if they're not used correctly. I see hashtags as really having three purposes. Number one is this funny one, which is just for fun, where you write, ow, I cut myself with the knife. Hashtag wait until the muffin is defrosted. You just be silly with it and you make a phrase to make people giggle. That's not a strategy. That's to have fun. Another way to use hashtags is to brand yourself or your company. And that is great if you're going to be really committed to that social media network and post often. And every post that you make that it really is branded to your philosophy, your branding, your company, put that branded hashtag with it. But the best way to get found and to get visibility on the networks is to use 1 or 2 at the most hashtags in your post, and make sure that they are words that people are using and searching for. So don't just grab a word, hanging out at NextJump and enjoying speaking to a hashtag crowd of people. It has to be specific. What words are your clients using? What words are they hashtagging? Because they're often looking for the words they're using. And what are typical words that people, it's a way to categorize. So make sure you're strategically categorizing your post. Words that people will find you because they're looking. You're less found by following people on Twitter now. So people are looking for hashtags. They're monitoring hashtags. Use the ones that people are going to look for. Does that make sense? You need more specifics on that? Okay.
Maybe we can throw it to the other offices to give them a chance to ask the second question. San Francisco, do you guys have a second question? No. Or if anybody from the other office at this point has a question. Okay, I think we have one in Boston, UK, so we'll do Boston first.
So just around Google Plus. In your opinion, do you think that Google Plus and Facebook will wind up being competitors, or do you think it'll be the same thing as Facebook and MySpace, where Facebook pushed MySpace all the way out of the industry?
That is such a good question. With the way things are going now, and Facebook and Google are buying up so many things, but I don't think that they're going to. They're not going to. One is not going to buy the other. I feel like I've never said this out loud before, but I really do feel like Facebook is somehow not going to be as popular soon and kind of being taken over. I really do. We just sent out a newsletter to all of our whole newsletter list saying Google Plus is the new Facebook. And I think Google Plus is going to take over. That's my bold statement. I think soon they're going to really be. I don't even see how Facebook could compete with them at this point, because Google Plus is giving so much more.
London, you guys had a question?
Just any advice really on using social media for customer service, customer success, and crisis management?
Yes. So with customer service and crisis management and reputation management, you really need to have someone on that network monitoring it 24 hours a day. And obviously not one person, but you need a team of people. We've had clients where we're doing reputation management and crisis management, and it's not like, with many of our clients, we can schedule posts for the day and be on once a day for 5 or 10 minutes. Not with this. So number one, you need to make sure it's always monitored, because something that goes out and isn't taken care of within a few minutes is going to turn much bigger. So something that is taken care of very quickly, and the time is getting shorter. We used to have patience. We would write to a company and expect to hear back, when the pony came back a few weeks later. Now it's like within a few seconds. If you didn't respond, people are pissed off. So you really have a few minutes at the most to respond to negativity or people who are upset. So that would be my first suggestion, is make sure you have someone monitoring 24 hours a day. And it's unfortunate because, especially if you're serving people around the world, there's no sleep time. So someone needs to be on in case someone posts something at 3 a.m. And then the next thing I would say is, don't ever, and I don't think I need to say this, but I've seen it too many times, is don't ever just delete. Oh, that's a negative comment, so we don't want anyone to see it, so we delete it. Number one, that causes much more anger, and it can turn into something much, much bigger, because people don't just have your Facebook page to post on. They're going to post somewhere where you can't delete it. And also, when you handle someone who's upset, and you say, what can I do for you? That will give you much more positive energy than if they didn't post it at all. Studies have shown that people prefer working with a company that handled a problem well rather than a company that they never had a problem with. So welcome the problems and show how well you can handle them, and that'll boost your branding.
So maybe one more question, if anybody has one from New York.
New York knows everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nika.
Thank you.